Hi everybody, welcome to my kitchen. Fall is here. Now our grandkids are coming over today. You know they usually come over on video days and they're super excited because today I'm going to be making a delicious chicken enchilada soup. Same delicious flavor without the hassle, and it's super easy. Now I've got 4 large boneless chicken thighs right here, and I cut them up into medium-sized cubes. Now I have removed most of the fat from the chicken pieces, but I left some here because that's what's gonna give our chicken enchilada soup that delicious flavor. Now I've got some olive oil here, and I'm gonna add about 1 tablespoon into my Dutch oven right here. And I'm gonna add my chicken. I'm gonna give it a light sear. And I'm gonna let it get nice and golden before I flip it over. So it's been about 2 minutes. Now it's time for me to flip them over to the other side. Oh, these are gonna be so pretty. So now that I've flipped them over to the other side, I'm gonna add my onions. I've got 1 medium onion that I have chopped into small pieces, and I'm gonna add all my onions in here. I want the flavor of the chicken and the onions in here because that's what's gonna give our chicken enchilada soup that wonderful, authentic flavor. Now I love using chicken thighs because the meat is always juicy. And I like to do it this style right here because I wanna keep the flavor of the chicken and the onions in the pot. So I'm gonna let that chicken just sear from the bottom, and then I'll be flipping them around until our onions get a beautiful color and they get translucent. So now I'm going to remove the chicken and the onions. I'm going to cover it up, and I'm just going to set it aside for just a little bit. Now I'm ready to make the magic part of this soup. I'm going to add 5 tablespoons of butter right here in my Dutch oven. I'm going to make a roux. I'm going to wait until my butter melts really nicely in here. Now that the 5 tablespoons of butter are nice and melted, I'm going to add my flour. I have 5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm going to whisk it until it gets to a beautiful golden blonde. Now you want to make sure that your flour is well cooked because that's what's going to give our soup that delicious flavor. If you start adding the other ingredients before you cook the flour, then you're going to have raw flour in here, and that's not a good flavor. This is also going to be our thickening agent. Now while I wait for it to get to a beautiful golden blonde, I'm going to mix my seasoning. I've got 3 tablespoons of chili powder. This is my homemade chili powder. I'm going to put the link below. And I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of paprika. This is also my homemade paprika, but you can use store-bought, not a problem. I have 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, and 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. 1 teaspoon of sugar. What? Sugar? And 1 teaspoon of oregano. Now you need the sugar in here because you want it to balance everything out. I mean, we're using chili powder. We're using paprika. The sugar is just a good balance. Most products that you buy have it in there, but a lot of people don't know that. And this is ready to go. Now back to the roux. And I'm going to make my chicken broth. I'm going to put 5 cups of hot water in here. And that's 5 cups right there. I've got 5 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. Now this is Knorr chicken bouillon. I love the flavor. You can use better than bouillon. You can use store-bought chicken broth. And here it is. I'm ready to use it. Now back to the roux. Now that the butter and the flour are a beautiful golden color, I'm going to add my seasoning. A little bit at a time. And I'm going to move it around. This is going to give our enchilada soup a beautiful color and, of course, the flavor. So now that all the seasoning has released its flavor, I'm going to add my chicken broth, a little at a time. Now you want to continue whisking as you add your chicken broth because you want this to be nice and smooth. And there's the rest of the chicken broth. I've got 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. This is a good base for the soup. You want to continue whisking until it starts to get a little thick. And you want to keep your heat set on medium-low. So it's been about 10 minutes, and now I'm starting to see a little bubble here and a little bubble there, a low simmer. I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. I've got 2 medium-sized tomatoes. I'm going to add them in here. I always wait until everything gets a little thick before I add all these ingredients because these are all cold. And I'm going to add 1 can of sweet corn with liquid and all. And I'm going to add 1 can of black beans, 15.5 ounces. And they're rinsed really well. And I'm going to add my freshly grated cheese. Now I've got 2 cups of American cheese, and I'm going to add 1. Now I always use American cheese. That's my favorite cheese. And I think that's about half right there. Because the flavor that the American cheese gives this soup, you can't beat it. Now I'm going to add all my chicken and onions back in here. Look at this. You want every little bit. Now this would be a good time for you to taste it so you can adjust your salt and pepper. Oh my goodness. I'm going to replace my lid. And I've got my heat set on low. And I'm going to wait until it simmers for about 15 to 20 minutes so all these flavors can come in together beautifully. So it's been about 20 minutes. Now I'm going to turn off the heat and we're ready to serve. I'm going to slide this over here. Looks and smells delicious. And here we go. And now to top it, I'm going to put some of my freshly grated American cheese right on top. Then later you can mix it all in there. And I'm going to top it with a nice dollop of sour cream. That's optional. If you don't like it, you can leave it out. Now some of my pico de gallo right on top because we love it like that. And I'm going to add a couple of slices of avocado right here on the side. Now some of my chips. I like to add them right on top like that. And I've got some fresh jalapeno because it's so good in there. Look at that. Beautiful. Now these tortilla chips are just corn tortillas that I sliced really thin, and then I tossed them with olive oil, a little paprika, salt and pepper, and I toasted them in the oven for a few minutes until they were golden and crisp, and that's it. Now here in South Texas, if you go to a restaurant and you order chicken enchiladas, beef enchiladas, or cheese enchiladas, they're gonna give you saltine crackers. Now some of you may be saying, saltine crackers? Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to trust me on this one. So you can have them with saltine crackers. At least give it a try. Now it's time for the taste test. This is a winner. It's like having chicken enchiladas, soup form. Your family, your friends are gonna love this. I give it a 10 plus. It's absolutely delicious. So this is my wonderful chicken enchilada soup. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up, send me a comment, and tell me what you think. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Thank you.